Headed into the second half of the 2021 GNCC Series, and Walker Fowler looks to have a clear road to championship number 7 as his main competitor, Bryson Neal, is out for the season. It leaves the number 2 spot wide open, and everyone is staking their claims. Who's going to come out on top today? Stick around to find out. GNCC Racing is next. Are you ready to go GNCC Racing? Hello and welcome to America's premier off-road racing championship, the 2021 GNCC Series, presented by Specialized at AM8 National Championship. And this is round 8 of the 13-round Grand National Cross Country Championship Series from Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. We call it the Mason-Dixon GNCC. And just a couple of weeks ago, we were at the John Penton GNCC just west of here in southeastern Ohio, where 2 Ohio boys took the gloves off and win at it as Walker Fowler makes his bid for the 7th championship, an Ohio native from Northeast Ohio himself, and he goes head-to-head with Southeastern Ohio's Bryson Neal, who lives literally only 45 minutes from the gates of the John Penton GNCC. They locked together early in the race, and at the midway point, Bryson Neal was able to get around in a pit stop and head for the checkers. At least that's what it seemed. As the race wore on, it became evident that trouble had abounded for the number 2 machine, as we heard reports of making contact with some obstacles off the racetrack, which took Bryson Neal completely out of the race. Once that happened, it left a clear road for Walker Fowler to head right straight to the championship points lead that he needed, and of course begin to stretch this one out. In the meantime, it was found out that Bryson Neal is out for the season. However, behind him, the war waged on, and Walker Fowler, in the end, was able to capture another win with Jared McClure and Cole Richardson finishing up in the 2 and 3 spots.
Yeah, it was just nice to be able to compete for a change. He's just been so much faster, and I've just been missing my setup, and I still have a lot of work to do. But like I said, I was just gutting it out, just staying as close as I could to him. His pit was just a little bit faster, and that first little bit of trail after the pit was real dusty, and he was able to pull a bit of a lead on us. And I was just like, man, I just got to do everything I can to stay less than 10 seconds. I got to stay where he can hear me, where he can look back in a 2-way corner and see me. I just got to stay there and maybe try to force a mistake. And, he's notorious for riding pretty aggressive, and usually that works in his advantage. He gets around lappers fast, and he scares a lot of guys into making mistakes, and, that puts him up towards the front fast. But 99% of the time it works. Today was that 1%. I think he just was a little over aggressive, got tangled up with some lap riders, ended up against a pickup truck with 3 guys piled up on him, and the second fastest guy cruised to the finish line for a win.
Walker Fowler gets the win, but he's not necessarily satisfied with it, but taking the championship points as McClure, Richardson. Bryson Neal ended up in 4th place position with Adam McGill in 5th. However, today, Bryson Neal's not out here as we get set to race here on the Mason-Dixon line next to High Point Raceway in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania. A 2-hour race, somewhat dry conditions today. I don't think it's as dry as what we've seen in the past, so we'll see what happens. Now, it's a little dry on this starting line as it looks like it's going to be Hunter Hart going to grab this hole shot with the number 1 of Walker Fowler right behind him. A little topsy-turvy action going on there, it looks like. One of our riders going down. I'm not sure if that's Devin Feehan. I see Chris Borich is bunched up in that, and maybe even Adam McGill. So some tough breaks there. Maybe even John Glotta got collected. We'll have to check out a little further down through here. Walker Fowler has made his way into the lead with Hunter Hart now in 2nd. That is Devin Feehan in the number 3 spot, getting off to a good start there. As they're starting to open up a little bit of a gap. Back to 4th there is Josh Merritt, old JM8 himself, making some waves early on in this one as riders try to get things resorted out after that little jumbled up start there in the first turn. Down to our start again, this time for the XC2 Pro-Am class, where we've seen Ronnie Rush really digging in deep and getting a lot of hole shots. See if the 714 can make it happen again. West Virginia's Brandon Owen's been giving him fits. Also, Wyatt Wilkin has been giving him fits. There's a lot of riders vying for the championship in this one, and it's been very exciting to watch the battles unfold. But, man, looks like Ronnie Rush is going to be hard to deny this one today as we check in with them early in this wood section now, as he's got a nice lead. Wilkin a little further back at about that 5th, 6th place as we head up front and check in with our leaders, where it's still Walker Fowler out front, the number 7 of Hunter Hart in the number 2 spot, Devin Feehan in 3rd, Josh Merritt, Jared McClure, and it looks like back there in that number 6 spot is going to be the 7-12 of John Glotta Jr. There is Chris Borge trying to play catch up after his first turn debacle there and battle. So a lot of shakeups. Early lead going to Hunter Hart. He's currently shadowing Walker Fowler. The question is, can he beat him? Stick around.
Coverage of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Series on MAVTV is brought to you in part by Specialized Turbo E-Bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready. And by Yamaha, revs your heart.
Back at the Mason-Dixon GNCC in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, next door to the legendary High Point Raceway, where Walker Fowler leads this ATV Grand National Cross Country Championship race ahead of Hunter Hart, who has stepped up quite a bit here in the 2021 season. We had a lot of great things to say about him, and here at the midway point, things are looking up as the road to that number 2 plate could be a little easier to get to with the absence now of the number 2 of Bryson Neal. Neal out for the season after the reports of hitting that vehicle there off the side of the track, getting in that tanglement with the lapped rider. He's out for the season and should lead a clear road for Walker Fowler for the championship, but a lot of riders right now are going to be vying for the number 2 plate, including Hunter Hart, and rides like this is going to put him in a great position to make that happen. I know Jared McClure is another rider that is in contention for that, and you don't want to count out Cole Richardson or even John Glotta Jr., who's really been showing a lot of promise here in this 2021 championship season as well. This battle really seems to be separating them from the rest of the field right now, as Hunter Hart and Walker Fowler are establishing a fairly big distance between they and the 3rd place rider McClure. Cole Richardson in 4th, and of course that 7-12 of John Glotta Jr. back there in that number 5 spot that we were just talking about. There's the 521 of Adam McGill. There's the number 8 of Josh Merritt, and the 741 of Wesley Wolf, an AMA Pro ATV motocross racer as well as top GNCC star. Looks like Cole Richardson now the 3rd place rider, McClure in 4th, and Adam McGill gets around for the 5th place position. What happened to the young Glotta now, as Junior finds his way into the 6th place position? Still got him in sight, but can't afford to let him get too much further ahead, or that top 5 position could possibly slip away for him today. Meanwhile, this top 5 battle is really starting to heat up now, especially for 3rd and 4th between Richardson and McClure, that final podium position. And also it looks like Adam McGill's got his hands full, as does Walker Fowler still. I don't think that he's lost this shadow of Hunter Hart all day long. He's been right on that rear grab bar since the since the first lap. I mean, Hunter got the whole shot and Walker got around, and this has pretty much been the story since then. These two up front and everyone else battling for the number 3 spot. McClure still in control of this one with Richardson in the 4th place position, and now Adam McGill solidly in that 5th place position. He'd had some company back there a little bit ago. Looks like Glotta has dropped back a little bit also, so our front 5 are starting to stretch it out a little bit and going to be able to fight it out. It looks like a good battle shaping up for 3rd as well as 1st, as we'll check back in with that in a moment. Right now, though, we're going to check in with the specialized eMTB GNCC, which is a big part of Saturday night entertainment as well as competition at the Grand National Cross Country Championship. It's an electric mountain bike, a pedal assist situation where these riders traverse trails similar to the Grand National Cross Country motorcycle and ATV trails, and it has become quite a bit of a spectacle in and of itself, as well as a competition. Nick Mackey out of Florida, one of the top residents out of there, and not only that, national stars, has made his way into the championship this season and has given Charlie Mullins a real fit and a real run for the money. Kyle Smith, another competitor that has really stepped it up here in the 2021 season, has made for a lot of excitement as well. And many of the amateur classes have proved to be exciting, but here on the West Virginia-Pennsylvania state line, it was Nick Mackey taking the win over Kyle Smith. Hot Rod Charlie Mullins, your defending champion, finishing up in the number 3 spot. Congratulations to Nick Mackey out of Florida for taking the win of the Mason-Dixon. Welcome back to GNCC on MAVTV for the Mason-Dixon as we celebrate our youth riders, a monumental part of what GNCC racing is all about. Kind of the stars of the future, if you will, and a full house once again as these riders take off on their 250cc machines all the way down to 70cc's and ranging in ages from 4 to 16 years old. Well, the soils of the Mason-Dixon GNCC brought out the competitors once again, and it was Caden Lambruno who was appearing to be tough to beat once again, but again he had riders like Harrison Lindsay, Landon Barr, Cody Whitaker, and even Tavin Cook, but it was Brody Lee taking the checkers yet again whenever this one came to an end as we check in with our young Brody Lee and what seems to be a pretty good season going.
Had a decent start about mid-pack, and then we all just kind of came into a bottleneck, and we kind of found my way around it. And then we just pushed, and I just got Tavin in this last field section, and I just rode that little bit of ways and put my head down and tried the best I could.
Brody Lee's 5th win of the season. Tavin Cook finishing second. Caden Lambruno in third. Harrison Lindsay and Landon Barr rounding out the top 5. And we've got ourselves a really good championship going on here in the youth ranks. As we pick the action back up here in the pro ranks, where Walker Fowler appears to be stretching things out just a little bit now over Hunter Hart as we get out of that wooded section. We're at the midway point now, so Walker Fowler taking a quick splash of gas, it looks like, as he is in and out, as is Hunter Hart trying to get a quick splash of gas in and out. He's trying to go a little bit faster so he can shave some of that time that Walker Fowler is starting to open up. And I know that Hunter doesn't want to let Walker get away. Once he gets out of sight, it's going to be hard to match those speeds and know just exactly where you're at and pace yourself out there. But nonetheless, Hunter trying to make it happen, and Walker trying to make a statement here. As you can see, the dust just starting to settle as Hunter comes into that small bit of dust that Walker's kicking up right now. Not really too dry, but it is dry out there. You can see the woods have a little bit of moisture in it, so a lot of the riders said the woods are virtually perfect out there in most of the areas, so it's a nice race out there and a nice course to be racing. So these riders really seeming to excel in it, and Hunter Hart is caught right back up to the rear grab bar of Walker Fowler, at least for a moment. He's got him a lot closer in sight than what we saw in those open field sections out there, so we can see that Hunter at least can match the speeds in the woods. And once he puts that field speed together, it could be pretty interesting for him going for wins. Jared McClure still back in the number 3 spot. The Coltrane getting up to speed there in that 4th place position. And West Virginia's Adam McGill in the number 5 spot. One thing to point out here is that McGill is basically in his home state. They are on the state line. They do go back and forth into West Virginia and Pennsylvania, so he considers this kind of a home race, and a lot of the race fans do too. So don't be surprised if Adam McGill can't pull one out of the hat and challenge for this podium spot. He's right there in the thick of it as McClure and Richardson do their battle. We are starting to see a little bit of a gap open up in that 5th place position back there, but Adam Miguel's still well within striking distance and able to make things happen as we check back in with our leader, Walker Fowler, out here at the Moose Racing uphill, and Hunter Hart, 2nd place, is still right there. Call him a shadow, if you will, and this is right where Hunter needs to be if he wants to put himself in position for the number 2 plate, and if, heaven forbid, something happened to Walker Fowler, be able to maybe inherit the number 1 position if a couple of bad races come that way. So Hunter's doing a great job, and this is right where a lot of folks have expected to see the number 7 for a long time. And it almost appears that what a lot of folks expected may be coming to fruition as well, because I believe that was Hunter Hart that just came out by himself, and it was Walker Fowler back to the number 2 spot as we have a new leader, and it is Hunter Hart. Can he throw the hammer down, stretch this one out, and take the win? Stick around to find out. Back at Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, is Mason-Dixon GNCC, and Hunter Hart taking over the lead now. Walker Fowler back in that number 2 spot, and it looks like the gap has opened up a little bit. Must have been a rather healthy mistake that your defending champion made out there, and you can't say that maybe Hunter Hart didn't force him into that, because he was right there on that rear grab bar, and he took control of the situation just as soon as he could, and I don't think he's looked back one time. And you look back yourself, you do see that that gap is starting to shrink a little bit, something that you might kind of expected. Walker Fowler does not like to be down, and he doesn't like to see these kids get any bit of confidence, so he's going to try to chip away at that as quickly as he can and demoralize him. And look at this, he does just exactly that. Walker Fowler a little further down the trail now, and he is taking over the lead, and lap traffic is getting out of the way because they hear the likes of the duo of Walker Fowler and Hunter Hart, and they know they are coming gunning, so they're getting out of the way. There's more lap traffic out of the way, and there is still Hunter Hart right on the rear bumper of Walker Fowler. I'm saying that Hunter Hart still has a chance to maybe pull this one out if he can stay right where he's at. He's rode such a consistent day today. It's going to be the last few miles that's going to tell the tale of the tape. There's some of the mud in the low-lying area. We did have some rain early in the week coming into this race, but most of the wood's in perfect conditions. I think this is about the only mud on the property of both West Virginia and Pennsylvania that we're running through here at the Mason-Dixon GNCC. Well, a little further down the trail, and it looks like maybe Walker Fowler is starting to stretch out a little more over Hunter Hart, and that comfort zone is becoming just exactly that. Very, very comfortable. The big question is, can Hunter Hart bridge that gap back? It's going to be a tough one to build. We'll see if it happens. Stick around to find out. GNCC continues after this.
Coverage of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Series on MAVTV is brought to you in part by Specialized Turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready. And by Yamaha, revs your heart.
Welcome back to the closing moments of this Parts Unlimited Mason-Dixon GNCC in Mount Morris, Pennsylvania, as Walker Fowler through the final finish line chicanes in a fist pump as he takes the checker flag, and another win in his bid for championship number 7, as he likes to call it, the Stairway to 7. And rides like that will certainly bring it to fruition.
I was impressed. That's the best ride he's put in in his career, and that's not taking anything away from his win. That's just, like I said, he rode really good today, and I made a mistake coming in for the 2-lap card. There was one little vine right here before we come into the finish line. I clipped it and stopped me dead in my tracks, and I lost a lot of time there, but was only about 10 up on probably McGill, I believe, at that point, and had make up about 25 seconds on Hunter, and I just pushed my brains out. When I caught him, he actually pulled over. It looked like he was struggling a little bit, and I needed a break. I was pretty tuckered out from running him down in 6 miles. Man, I just tried to leave him, and I couldn't leave him. So hats off to him, his crew, and that was a lot of fun. Hot day, demanding track. I can't believe as dusty and weird and rocky powdery as this place usually is, it was a slick, soft son of a gun.
Well, Walker Fowler taking the win, and Hunter Hart a valiant effort, as Walker said, likely Hunter's best racing effort so far.
Set my goal basically to stay with Walker all day. We were fortunate enough to come out with, hang out with him and Mark this week. We definitely made some solid improvements, and yeah, I kind of felt just like when I was at his house, you know, except for instead of him letting me lead one, him lead, you know, this time he just led, and it was good. You know, he was able to pull me along, and he actually tagged a vine, and I led probably 4 or 5 miles of it, and I didn't really like it. It was a harder to lead than I really cared for, and then I was happy when he called me. I was like, take me home, buddy, and he pulled me probably 95% of the day, and then the last 5 miles I was on my own, and it was a little bit of a struggle. You know, Jared caught me in the end, and we were just able to keep a cool level head through those field sections and bring her home to the second.
Well, that kid right there is one we're going to get to know a little bit better, as Fowler takes the win, Hunter Hart in second, Jared McClure in third. The Mountaineer himself, Adam McGill in fourth, John Galata rounding out the top 5 with Richardson Feehan, Wolf Merritt, and Chris Borch.
Yeah, definitely didn't have the best start out there, but kind of paid off. There was a couple crashes in the first 2 or 3 corners, and I was just able to avoid all that and kind of fell in a line about 5th, I guess, and early on, me and Cole Richardson had a pretty good battle. Kind of went back and forth, and Walker and Hunter kind of got away from us. So we were kind of basically battling. Then I got around Cole, gapped him, and just kind of was stuck in my own race all day.
Well, as we take a look at the Specialized race recap, remember Hunter Hart got off to a great start out there with your second place ride, the number 1 of Walker Fowler. Cole Richardson in that number 3 spot. I think he might have had a little bit of an issue with some of those other folks. It took them some of them a while to get straightened up. Others got out pretty quick and recovered. But while they were trying to work and sort that out, these two stretched it out. They certainly took advantage of the time and the opportunity and put a lot of distance between themselves and third place, where a battle eventually ensued. Now, of course, Hunter Hart was battling with Walker Fowler. Fowler making the mistake, as we heard him talking about, and Hunter Hart was able to get out front. He led for a little while, and that's something good for this youngster. It's something he needs to learn to do, and it's something good for Walker Fowler. It certainly keeps him on the tips of his toes and keeps him ready for battle from anybody that tries to wage war against him. In the end, though, Walker Fowler takes another win as he inches his way towards history in a lot of different levels. Jared McClure, as we said, rounding out the top 3 with Hunter Hart in second, and that's going to wrap things up. If you want to find out more about GNCC Racing, check it out, GNCCRacing.com. I'm Rodney Tomlin. Have a great day, everybody.